And good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to today's episode of Law, News, and Laughter. Yes, I am late and rain. How do I want to put that? Ricada? I got like 3 hours of sleep after the Amber Heard Johnny Depp transcripts last night. Wasn't actually sure if I'd do a stream today at all. I saw a few things that kind of felt that it was necessary. In the news today, we have the human collie speaking out. I just want a female dog and to be in movies, apparently. Canadian police have located the blade of the Lich King during a raid, and a whole bunch of people have gained a facelift as a result of a deadly botulism. I can't talk. As a result of a deadly botulism outbreak at a restaurant. We also have we have various things that are a little more serious, like an Indiana man being busted for driving while intoxicated and taking his kid's car for a drive. And when did physical fights, when did eviction parties become a thing? That seems a little bit of a stretch for me. But anyway, let's get stuck into it, people. Welcome to Law, News, and Laughter. Yes, Botox is botulism, technically. I mean, that's the whole point, is that people get that injected into their face to paralyze their muscles. May or may not have a good joke about someone that does that, but I'm going to leave that for the comedy special. Oh, which I haven't actually notified anybody about, mainly because it's a bad idea to just tell people your plans. At some point, I'm going to be releasing a 30-minute comedy skit sort of, it's not going to be like a stand-up routine or anything like that. It's just going to be me telling jokes that I have come up with the sole purpose of pissing off as many people as possible. So I will likely be releasing that on Rumble. But, yeah. Let's get stuck into it, shall we? So for anyone that doesn't know about this guy, he's actually so hilarious that he made it into my opening titles. There's a gentleman that spent upwards of $20,000 on a dog suit. He gets up, goes to work, puts on a regular suit. Gets up, puts on a regular suit, goes to work, because it'd be weird if he went to work without the suit on, comes home, puts the dog suit on, goes to the park, curls up in his dog bed. But as it turns out, he's now looking for love. He's looking for a lucky leg to hump. Human collie speaks. I want to meet a girl dog and be in movies. Just weeks after taking his first public walk on all fours, the Japanese man dog, now known around the world as the human collie, thanks to his extreme commitment to cosplay. Yeah, I see, this goes beyond the usual, furry thing. I mean, look how freaking realistic this thing is supposed to be. Thanks to his commitment to cosplay, has granted an exclusive interview to The Post. The very good boy who answers to Toko achieved internet notoriety after he spent a whopping 14,000, so yeah, 20,000 Australian, on a custom-made collie costume he wears in public to help him realize his dream of becoming an animal, and posted the results on his YouTube channel. Because of course he has a YouTube channel. Because every man and his dog quite literally has a YouTube channel these days. So thank you for being here and watching mine. Thank you to the 27 of you. Lovely. It's fine. I will still stream to a single person sitting in a hut in Antarctica. Now the human cum canine, phrasing, has chosen to reveal the secrets behind his unconventional life. The reason I chose a collie dog breed specifically is because I like raising them. Are there other collies in the household while he's sitting in this thing? Okay. He dished out the doppelganger who owned multiple pups in the past. Okay. He added, secondly, because it wasn't a naturally large size breed. It wasn't a naturally large size breed. It wouldn't look unnaturally disproportionate when someone wore it as a costume. I kind of disagree. I kind of feel like if you'd gone for like a bigger breed dog, like a Saint Bernard or something, maybe a Great Dane, might not have been such an issue. I love how he's sitting there holding the newspaper with Biden on the front cover, though. That's sort of living a dog's life. Yeah, it sort of expresses the kind of people that support Biden, in my personal opinion. Hey, Hunch, the Dirty Roofer, new member. Hello, Hunch. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Oh, damn, and he dropped 5 memberships, too. Holy shit. Awesome. Okay. He added that the collie's long fur helps camouflage the human form discreetly. Okay. And after achieving the doggy dream, Taco now has another wish, to become a movie star. Get ready for a different type of dog day afternoon. I'm more concerned about where it's going to wind up on the hub. I mean, which sort of section do you put this in? Furry, bestiality, yeah, okay. I think it would be great if I were able to use my skills and get the opportunity to appear in a dog movie, he yelped. Oh, for fuck. The Japanese native, who also revealed that he's long dreamed of living as an animal, but could never muster up the courage prior to ordering his current collie costume. It looks like the frickin' wolf from the Neverending Story. Like, if I saw that coming towards me, pun intended, Milo and Otis too. Do not besmirch the memory of Milo and Otis. Approximately 2.5 years ago, I actually spoke to several companies about wanting to make a realistic dog costume like this, he explained. Once he found someone willing to take on the project, the furry fashion garment took about 6 months to construct, and it was finally completed in spring of last year. And after wearing the costume in private for almost 12 months, where it probably should have stayed, Taco made his doggy debut earlier in the summer. The video of his first walk wound up going viral across multiple platforms. Okay, you know what? Oh, they didn't link it. Wait, what's going on here? Why am I... Oh, there it is. Before anyone asks, no, I am not saving that for later. I'm making everyone sit through it now. You must be joking. Hunch with the $2 super chat. Thank you, buddy. Is that Max in disguise? God, I hope not. Oh, for God. You guys know me from when I do the Kinky Corner crap. I generally don't judge people. But given he wants to get into acting, I mean, look, he's still a better actor than Amber Heard. But I have it. I mean, if that came up to you, rolled over for belly scratches. Okay, dude, you keep going on about how you want to live as a dog, and you keep waving, and like it's breaking whatever potential illusion there was. That's just creepy. Like, don't get me wrong. Okay, this is in his own house. Okay, fine. I don't care what people do behind closed doors. But he went for a walk out in public. I think that opens him to ridicule. Like, yes, I think we get it. I don't think you need the sign that says you're human. But anyway. Okay, where was I? Since that time, he's grown more comfortable being out and about while clad in the costume, and has been filmed playing fetch and even pretending to eat dog food. Oh god, I hope it was only pretending. Taco has gone so far as to create his own YouTube channel that boasts 50,000 subscribers. Jeff, I've been eclipsed. He's nipping at your heels. Oh my god. Would I get more channel subscribers if I read the news dressed as a giant kangaroo? Oh. Well, Taco has revealed his puppy proclivities to his family. Oh, so he has told his family this time around. His next step is to find love doggy style. I think it would be great if something like this existed, he said, speaking of a romance with a woman who also liked to dress up in a dog costume. I would like to... Dude, that's just a furry convention, okay? They exist. Just... Did he get his shots? I think he's the one trying to give shots. But, is this guy that much of an otaku that he's never actually been on a website where there's forums about this sort of shit? I mean, he's actually saying, oh, it'd be great if a woman dressed up in a dog costume. Dude, I prefer to deny their existence, but they're out there. You can find them online. What? Only way to find out is to start skinning. Ugh. Do better watch out for a well-hung pit bull in the park. One psychologist has previously declared that Taco is a therian, someone who identifies with a non-human species and not a furry, referring to a subculture in which people dress up as dogs and other animals to partake in sexual activity with one another. Oh, don't get me wrong. I get that there is a difference between this guy and a furry. I get it. But, oh my god, could you imagine each... I just got the picture in my head of him phoning up an escort agency that's specific to furries. And they show up and he's like, no, you're not realistic enough. Get out. Worked with a guy who was a furry. He needs a better shrink. That poor sausage dog. That dog sitting there going, oh my god, I just realized what this is. To that sausage dog, it's the equivalent of meeting someone that's transitioned. That dog must be spitting out right now. Taco admits that it's often physically strenuous to spend all his day on all fours, but says it's worth it for a sense of fulfillment. Rather than being tough or physically uncomfortable, the feelings of excitement and fun I receive from this experience are stronger. Matt himself dropping a super chat there. Thank you very much. Just trying to give you some non-fake money for once. I appreciate that. I very much do. I'm not dressing up as a wombat. Wombats are better. They've armored bums and poop cubes. Yes, they do. And no, I am not. I love it. Look at the freaking tags that they've got on this. Cosplay, costumes, dog, exclusive, Japan. Cosplay can become an obsession. Personally, I have issues if I'm in a full costume like that for any length of time as part of a job. Okay, so someone's clearly an actor. It's difficult to breathe. The owner must take extremely good care inside of that so it doesn't get bacteria or mold or from human sweat. He's a dog. They usually love human sweat. Ooh. Usually he's just on his knees. Super Saiyan Kamala cosplay. I think he's a better fit for president 2024 than the current Democrat frontrunner. So well spoken. Oh my god. I mean, this guy is just the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, the original story when we first saw him had me, like, crying with laughter. But, I mean, look, to each their own. I just prefer he did it behind his own Super Saiyan Koala cosplay. Ah, okay. I still can't wrap my head around that. Why would you go? Does he human poop or dog poop? I presume that he does his ablutions before and after he gets into the suit. They haven't shown it in this, but this dude has like a human-sized dog bed Does anyone remember, like a week or so ago, I showed the dog beds that you can buy for humans to just cuddle up? This guy had one custom made, and it's in his lounge room, and he curls up in it after a hard day work. Is that the dog that left the president in Depp's bed? No, but that's a nice little segue. So... They should go all in like Kyle's dad. Dude, you cock a leg and I'm shutting this stream down. Oh wow. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna open my Trello because as weird as it is, I'm adding him to my potential guest list. Coco, human dog, add card. Because that could actually be interesting. Be terrified seeing it in person? Yeah. What I've run into, I just got here. Fire Pixie, this isn't a follow-up on a story that I did about 6 months ago about a Japanese native who spent $14,000 American on a very realistic, he says realistic, I say should have used a different dog breed, collie costume that he basically just uses to relax, apparently, except now he's looking for a lady's leg to hump. So, yeah. But from one crazy individual to let's talk about Elon Musk's biography and how he talks about Amber Heard in it. Because why the hell not? I bought the book. The chapter about his relationship with Heard is about 10 pages. Those 10 pages alone are worth it, despite the fact that I feel like the author has written it at a 12-year-old reading level. I'm not impressed with the book itself. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm making my way through it. It's literally like a reporter has written a puff piece, but is doing it for an essay for school, is my own personal opinion on that. Elon Musk's biography reveals his brother and friends hated Amber Heard. Yeah, that's putting it mildly. Some of the language is quite evocative. Elon Musk's brother and friends hated Amber Heard with a passion when they dated, a relationship even Musk has admitted could be brutal, according to his new biography. The world's richest man dated the Aquaman... Why bring that up? Aquaman actress for about a year after her high-profile split from Johnny Depp. The way the book tells it, they may have started actually dating before the divorce was actually being processed. I don't really know, don't really care. I just like to pull news.com.au up on accuracy. So, a marriage famously mired in allegations of shocking excess and domestic violence. And you know what? There's enough in this book that, like, there's only 10 pages, but there's enough in there with the commentary on how she is as a person, what their relationship was like, all that sort of thing. That, frankly, if you're a Heard stan and you're still saying that she was not violent or abusive or anything like that, in Depp or Musk's relationships, you really do need to try and pull your head out of your ass. Why the hell would you have a biography written, dude? You have enough money? Well, I don't think it's so much about that. I think it's more... How do I put this? I think Elon had his biography written because it's the done thing. I mean, Bezos, Branson, Gates, you know, when you get to that level of wealth, it's just sort of expected that there'll be a book about your life story. And I kind of feel like that's what this was, if I'm honest. I think it could have been better written. I think maybe, yeah, Trump... I think maybe if he'd actually written it himself, it might have been a little bit better off. So, where are we? Musk's brother and friends hated Heard with a passion that made their distaste for Justine, his first wife, pale in comparison. Walter Isaacson wrote in Elon Musk, according to excerpts in the in the Times of London. Are you serious? You didn't even read the book yourself? It's 10 pages. She was just so toxic, a nightmare, the brother Kimball Musk told Isaacson in the book published on Monday. It's really sad that he falls in love with these people who are really mean to him. They're beautiful, no question, but there is a very dark side, and Elon Musk knows that they are toxic. She was described as a dark vortex that led to him then having a year's worth of depression afterwards, And look at the fucking shiner on the side of his cheek. Not that I'm making any sort of allegations whatsoever. I'm just saying it's very coincidental, is the word I'm looking for. Musk's chief of staff, Sam Teller, even compared her to the Joker in Batman. She didn't have a goal or an aim for other than chaos. She thrives in destabilizing everything, he was quoted as saying. Musk admitted that the relationship was brutal, according to an excerpt in The Independent. Again, why are you talking about excerpts in other publications? Just read the damn book and you can have the excerpts, you can have the quotes yourself. I'm just a fool for love. I'm often a fool, but especially for love, he said. The biographer, who shadowed the ex-owner for 3 years, even seriously? 3 years? And that, okay. Even dedicates a chapter to Musk's rocky relationships. Musk was not bred for domestic tranquility. Most of his relationships involve psychological turmoil, the renowned biographer noted. Okay. Musk's on-again, off-again partner, the musician Grimes, also spoke to the Tesla mogul's history of chaotic lovers, suggesting Heard was worse than most. My Dungeons and Dragons alignment would be chaotic good, whereas Amber's is probably chaotic evil, the quirky Canadian songstress said. Heard, meanwhile, told the biographer that she still loves the SpaceX honcho very much, while conceding that he doesn't always make the best choices. Yeah, well, he stuck his dick in crazy. I think that's not the best choice. I don't know if she admitted it, though. Elon loves fire, and sometimes it burns him, the actress told Isaacson. A representative for her did not immediately respond to the Post's request for comment. Isaacson details how the ex-owner spotted Heard in Machete Kills in 2013, when she was already dating Depp, whom she married in 2015. The pair eventually connected years later. Yeah, it's sort of alluded to because he was a consultant on the movie because, I haven't actually seen the movie, but apparently it's about someone wanting to set up a space colony. So he, his channel cannot provide any legal, medical, or dating advice. Yeah, it's sort of implied that they sort of sparked up a relationship whilst he was consulting on the movie, but then there's nothing really said in the book about it, and yeah, I'm not really sure, honestly. I'm going to leave that to my own opinion, frankly. Though it's unclear when the relationship became romantic, they went Instagram official in April 2017. During Depp and Heard's sensational defamation trials last spring, Heard asserted that she did not really know Musk until the 2016 Met Gala, when she claimed the Pirates of the Caribbean star stood her up. Hang on, let me just check something. Because I've literally got it right here on my phone, because I bought the digital edition. Shit, where's it gone? Kindle. That's alright, Kindle. If you want to give me a soft sponsorship, feel free. Oh, speaking of which, Jeremy, I just saw that post on... Not that you're ever going to even remotely see this. I'm talking to Jeremy from the Quartering. I saw the tweet about whether or not people should be promoting coffee brand coffee for you. Look, I don't know that I have enough of a viewership, but I'd be willing to sell my soul for that. Okay, where are we? Trump... So the rocky relationships, basically, it talks about Trump, it talks about his kids, his ex-wife, and then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 and a bit pages about Heard. Relationship began after she made an action movie in 2012 called Machete Kills. Okay, yeah, and then they're talking about the Met. Okay, that makes sense. I have no idea what I walked into, but this has been hilarious so far. Fabulous, Fire Pixie. Look, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't recognize the name, but if you're a new person here, please feel free to consider giving a like and subscribe. I generally do this sort of shit where I talk about all the funny crap that goes on. Yesterday was a little bit of an aberration because, let's face it, it was a slow news day and it was all about nasty crimes, and I wasn't happy about it. That's really why I cut the show short yesterday. But yeah. Quartering is specifically looking to sponsor small creators to give back. Okay, where was I? Met Gala, Depp countered that the couple actually started secretly dating in 2015, the year that he married. By August 2017, rumors swirled that Heard and Musk had split, and the latter eventually confirmed on Instagram that although Amber and I did break up, we are still friends, remain close, and love one another. Long-distance relationships, when both partners have intense work obligations, are always difficult, but who knows what the future holds, he hinted. Dude, I'm so glad you ran. Excuse me. The pair appeared to have resumed their relationship a couple months later, but seemed to call it quits for good in February 2018. People reported, what? Just do research. How hard is it? In addition to his relationship with Heard, Musk was married to his first wife, Justine, with whom he shares 5 children from 2000 till 2008. He later married British actress Tallulah Riley twice. Twice? Dude, what? Okay. I'm starting to doubt the man's sanity now if he goes back for second helpings. Okay. Before having 3 children with Grimes and welcoming employee Siobhan Zillis's twins via IVF. Grimes, meanwhile, also claimed that clueless Musk took a photo of her having a C-section and sent it to family and friends, including her own father and brother. Oh, lovely. Thank you. Grimes and Musk also got into a public spat this month when Isaacson shared a photo of Musk alongside Zillis and her twins, Strider and Azure. Tell Siobhan to unblock me and tell Elon to let me see my son or please respond to my lawyer, Grimes commented on the snap. Ouch! Ooh, that's not good. So there's that. Yeah, look, reading through the thing, it was reasonably interesting because it was short. In my own personal opinion, it was badly worded, but it was very obvious as to the intent behind it. Like, it's very short, but it goes for the jugular at Heard, that's for sure. Like, specifying exactly what his family thought of her, the insanity that she... What? Have to go back to make sure it's them, not you. I disagree, Dazza, but to each their own. The fact that they detailed... So the last argument that they had, they were on a trip in Italy, and he's there with the kids, he's there with a few other people, security, all that sort of thing. And she pulls what sounds like one of her trademark flip-outs that we've heard about during the Johnny Depp trial. Apparently she was screaming that she wasn't allowed to leave and that she was fearful for her safety and she was worried about being attacked and that Elon had taken her passport, and everybody around is saying, no, you're free to leave and should whenever you want. It's like, okay. And apparently that's like the last thing that happened before they split, so... Psychotic episode. Okay. Alright. Oh, crap. I closed something I wasn't supposed to. We'll move on to something a little more serious because I need to cover a few things. This one may have a trigger warning just in case you don't like... In case you have issues with, like, I don't know, Democrats maybe? Okay, Senator John Kennedy, 71, gets not safe for work with sexually graphic reading during a hearing on book bans. Someone else should have read it. A relatively routine Senate Judicial Committee hearing turned R-rated on Tuesday when Senator John Kennedy read from a sexually graphic children's book to drive home growing calls for parents to have age-appropriate literature in schools and libraries. The 71-year-old Republican from Louisiana recited sections from the LGBTQ young adults book, adult books, including All Boys Aren't Blue and Genderqueer, and grilled witnesses who have pushed state legislation initiatives to block parents from having a say in what their children can access. I really should have played the other stinger for this. I get triggered by the word triggered. Sorry about that. I put some lube on and got him on his knees, and I began to slide into him from behind. Well, that's getting clipped. Kennedy read from All Boys Aren't Blue, a coming-of-age book for young adults with a queer black protagonist. Okay. The reading was gloriously hilarious. Should read it with your hair lip accent? No! I'm worried about getting cancelled as it is. The New South New South Wales. The not safe for work reading came during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing titled Book Bans Examining How Censorship Limits Liberty and Literature, which discussed efforts to define what books should be publicly available. I want to try and understand what you're asking us to do. Let's take two books that have been much discussed. Kennedy told Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias, who earlier this year backed a bill to withhold state funding from libraries that don't follow American Library Association guidelines. The guidelines make no mention of sexually explicit content and say books should not be prescribed or removed because of partisan or doctrinal disapproval. I have issues with this. The Illinois bill, which was signed into law by Governor J.B. Pritzker in June, also does not address potentially lewd material. I'm pretty sure I've seen images of these books going around on Twitter and everyone's like, hang on, are you seriously making sure that this is... Kennedy went on to read excerpts from Gender Queer, a 2019 graphic novel about gender identity written for teenagers that's since been pulled from the shelves at several public school libraries. I prefer the rating system that was suggested a couple of weeks ago. If the material is sexually explicit, it should be treated as such, irrespective of... Like, I don't understand why they have to keep coming for the kids. Phrasing, Jesus Christ, Hayden. I've seen the pictures. It's basically porn. And should it be removed from a library? Look, not necessarily, because it's still information, it's still freedom of speech and expression, whatever. Should it be on the top shelf where a 6-year-old can't reach it? Abso-friggin-lutely. I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on, he read in part. Oh, Jesus. We may wind up watching this video just because it might be hilarious to listen to an old man talking about a strap-on harness. Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. Mr. Secretary, what are you asking to do? He's suggesting that only libraries should decide whether the two books I just referenced should be available to kids. With all due respect, Senator, the words you spoke are disturbing, especially coming out of your mouth. It's very disturbing. But I would also tell you that we're not advocating for kids to read porn. We're advocating for parents, random parents, not to have the ability to, under the guise of keeping kids safe, to try and challenge the worldview of every single manner of these issues. When individual parents are allowed to make a decision of where that line is, and To Kill a Mockingbird, which involves a grape scene, should be pulled from the libraries. I think it's a very slippery slope. Trying to think who he reminds me of. Oh, Kenny from Frasier. That's what it is. The portly station manager. Kennedy agreed with witnesses that censorship is bad, but said that the books he read from were subject to a different level of scrutiny. You heard the books we're talking about. We're not talking about Catcher in the Rye, the Louisiana Republican said. So tell me what you want, who gets to decide. And all I've heard is the librarians and parents have nothing to do with it. And if that's your response, what planet did you parachute in from? Senator, with all due respect, parents absolutely have a say. My parents were immigrants, came to this country. The fuck does that have to do with anything? Oh, damn it, 34 minutes in. Came to this country. We never checked out books without our parents seeing what we were reading. They encouraged us to read books. Yeah, well, to be fair, that is a problem in today's society, is that parents are being a little bit blasé about what they do and don't. These school districts are acting in response to legitimate parental concerns. They should be removing these, Senator Mike Lee, Republican from Utah, said. Shame on them if they don't, and shame on those who want to groom children sexually. Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin countered that witnesses were not advocating for sexually explicit content to be available in elementary school libraries or in the children's section of the library. Really? Because I'm pretty sure that's where these books are currently located. That's a distraction from the real challenge, he said. I understand and respect that parents may choose to limit what their children read, especially at younger ages. My wife and I did. Boom, thank you. You've just admitted it. Others do too, but no parent should have the right to tell another parent's child what they can and cannot read in school or at home. Every student deserves access to books that reflect their experiences and help them better understand who they are. Dude, you hand my 5-year-old daughter a book that has graphic images of anal sex, I will end you. Green eggs and big, thick, juicy sausage. Oh, good God. Okay, so let's see. Do we actually have...
First one is called All Boys Aren't Blue. And I will quote from it.
Oh, dear.
I put some lube on and got him on his knees. And I began to slide into him from behind. I pulled out of him and kissed him while he masturbated. He asked me to turn over while he slipped a condom on himself. This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine someone inside me.
Seconds of this. If we okay. If someone wants to find the full video, we may potentially go over and watch it on Rumble after I'm done with the news. But this was my ass.
He got on top and slowly inserted himself into me. It was the worst pain I think I have ever felt in my life. Eventually, I felt a mix of pleasure with the pain.
Okay, for one thing, that's a disturbing description. Two, holy shit. Just chug it to me in DMs on Twitter would be the fastest way. In the meantime,
Close
oh my
quote.
God.
All boys aren't blue.
Bloody hell. I don't understand why they don't actually have the, they should have had a link to the full video there. But, oh, crikey on a cracker. So, goodness me. Okay, alright. Moving on for the moment. Canadian police find drugs, firearms, and the dread blade of the Lich King in a raid, which they underwhelmingly described as a sword. It's interesting that you can actually make up that kind of collection in Canada. I thought that they didn't really allow that. A raid by the Norway House Royal Canadian Mounted Police turned up 9 firearms that were illegally owned and obtained over 130 grams of a substance believed to be crack cocaine, machetes, a sword, a bear mace, and ammunition, according to a news release posted on the website yesterday. The raid was part of an ongoing investigation into illegal firearms and controlled substances, leading to the arrest of Larson Cromarty, 26, and a 17-year-old male youth. Runkle's house was raided. Oh. Would you be surprised if I told you criminals don't respect the law, so they don't respect the gun law? Oh, bear mace! Mace that you used to kill a bear. That took me a second. Actually, it took me longer than a second, but anyway. The Mounted Police posted a photo alongside the release, but anyone familiar with everyone's favourite bad boy, Arthas Menethil, knows a sword is selling this bad boy short. The replica, I hope, of frostmourne, the Morn blade of the Lich King of Warcraft fame. Aside from apparently being a popular means of home defense in Canada, frostmourne has the power to shatter and entrap the souls of its victims and can raise the dead. It's one of gaming's most iconic weapons, taking its place in the Hall of Fame alongside Kratos' Blades of Chaos and Link's Master Sword. Okay, I'm not actually going through all that. Why the blade in the picture doesn't look quite like Blizzard's upcoming replica, which ships in November 23 and costs a spit take worthy $1,500. There've been plenty of official and unofficial takes on the rune blade, though, so it could either be a priceless item or complete junk. Yes. Well, I mean, let's face it. GameStop here had a version that you could buy at one point. I had some friends that had it on the wall and that sort of thing, but yeah. There was a swordsman killing people in Quebec, so, you know. Yeah, but I mean, using frostmourne for that, Like, it's not a small sword either. Like, if you look at it in comparison to the rifles, it's not, you know. Use it to raise dead hookers for another go at the whole process. Jesus Christ, mighty. I don't understand why you have to go to all the effort of using magic. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little necrophilia. Well, it felt dirty even saying that. It just reminds me there was I won't find it now, but there was a picture on Twitter that was going around. And it was basically someone said, what do you call it? They picked up a hooker basically, but it looked like it was the Crypt Keeper's wife, and the tagline was, "I don't see any issue with men dating older women. Just don't go digging them up to do so." And I was like, "Oh, that's a fucking burn." Take swords for 500, Alex. Well, there you go. It is a size king, apparently. Well, you know, I'm used to dealing with massive weaponry, so. Okay. All right. Now we got to deal with some of the more serious side of things. So, watch the moment the top voice campaigner, Marcia Langton, who was one of its designers and creators, labels criticism based in racism. Professor Marcia Langton has sought to link arguments made from the No campaign to base racism as the voice to Parliament looks set to fail at the referendum next month. Thank
But
God
first
we
tonight,
got there. Professor Marcia... So, someone actually reached out to me yesterday on Twitter asking for an explanation of what the voice is and why I was so against it. I'm not quite sure that they were expecting a 3-page tweet response. And when I say tweet, I mean, like, it was in personal messages and that sort of thing. But, like, it just kept going. And basically, I got to the bottom. I said, "Oh, by the way, if you want more information, I did a 30-minute breakdown over my locals. It's free for anyone to watch." They said thank you, quite helpful, all that sort of stuff. The long and the short of it is that the voice is not what it's being billed as. And whilst it may well be that the intention behind it is to promote unity and goodness and whatever else, the wording of the proposed alteration is dangerous. And I'm noticing that it is a common thread with the Albanese government, is that when they're drafting legislation, they're looking to make it as broad as possible so they can give themselves as many powers as possible. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, the misinformation/disinformation bill that Albanese tried to push through, so that was released for comment in June. I've just done up a video on it. I'm hoping to get that edited and out relatively soon, because that will be going before Parliament for final vote probably in the next month and a half. But that thing is freaking dangerous. On its face value, it's a really innocuous bill. There's nothing really wrong about it, aside from the fact that it's looking to give the ACMA additional powers. For anyone that doesn't know, the ACMA is our equivalent of the FCC. And basically, what it says is that it wants to give the ACMA the rights and to make rules for websites and platforms to control Australian speech. Now, it doesn't actually come out and say that, because what it says is that it wants to be able to make rules that records are kept. Now, that's fairly non-controversial. Having to have it so that there are records that records kept of what's said on a particular platform in case, you know, there's murder threats or whatever else, all that doesn't really matter. It's the fact that then there's little open-ended things in there, like, oh, it can create regulations for how information can be dealt with. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but if all of a sudden a government organization can create regulation around what information should be censored or removed from a website based on whether or not it is whether or not it's Australian speech, that's dangerous to me. And that's the ultimate. That you can tell me that it's not what the act is about, and we've got the same issue here with the voice. You can tell me it's not what the act is about, but when it is a legitimate possibility or concern that raises out of it, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to take the worst possible view on you and say you're doing this deliberately because you want additional power. And I'm sorry, Albo, you can't convince me otherwise, especially after what I've seen about this voice. Because the problem with the voice is not the recognition of Aboriginal interests. I've next to no issue with that, frankly. I don't believe that any single individual voice should be louder than another. I believe that everybody is a citizen, everyone has the right to lobby the government, and a whole bunch of Indigenous Australians feel the same way. You see the videos on Twitter of Native Australians saying, no, we already have senators, we already have individuals, these people don't speak on my behalf, all that sort of stuff. Section 3 that they're looking to insert into the Constitution specifically says that the government of the day will have the rights, it will have the ability to delegate whatever functions or powers it wants to this voice. If it's an advisory body, there is no reason whatsoever why it should have any powers whatsoever. But given how open-ended and broad that interpretation of what they're looking to insert into our Constitution is, they could literally make it so that the voice has power over international trade, over family law matters, over any number of things. Now, you can tell me that I'm being ridiculous and that's reductio ad absurdum, that I'm taking it to extreme lengths. But if the wording is that vague and open-ended, you can't tell me that it can't be used that way. And I'm sorry, that to me is dangerous, and I'm not going to allow it. So, sorry for going off on a slight little rant there. But basically, this woman, who was an architect behind the voice, turned around and said that if you're voting no, you're either a racist prick, or you're just basically stupid. So, Professor Marcia Langton has launched a stunning attack on critics of the Voice Parliament amid a slump in the polls ahead of the referendum. The prominent Yes campaigner and key Voice architect sought to link arguments outlined by the No side to base racism while speaking in Western Australia. Every time the No case raises their arguments, if you start pulling them apart, you get down to base racism. I'm sorry, that's where it lands, or sheer stupidity. If you look at any reputable fact checker, every one of them says the No case is substantially false. They are lying to you. What reputable fact checker are we talking about? Because RMIT Fact Lab's been thrown out the window based on exactly what's going on with Twitter and Facebook and Meta, whatever else you want to call it. So who are you classing as a reputable fact checker? Because as it is, I don't trust your judgment to decide. Footage of Professor Langton's comments was aired on Sky News Australia by Sherry Markson on Tuesday evening. The comments come after new polling reveals that the Voice is likely to fall short of the double majority required on October 14. Polling released on Monday has the government poll proposal failing, with support for the Voice now at a meagre 43%. Yeah, so just for anyone that doesn't quite understand that, a double majority. So it has to be not only the majority of individual people in Australia vote for the referendum, the majority of the states also have to as well. So Australia-wide has to be more than 50% of people voting for it. In each individual state has to be more than 50% of people voting for it. So, what's that? She looks like a cartoon character. Where are we? The Resolve strategic poll conducted for the 9 newspapers reveals that those that are against are now at 57%. Professor Langton also said she has not heard a viable alternative to address the plight of Indigenous people from opponents of the proposal. They're not required to provide one. Just because you think something should happen, something should change, doesn't mean you have to force someone else to make a decision on that. I've asked the No voters, what would you propose as a better option? What do we do? Use the representative government that we already have in place. If there is issues with Aboriginal representation, how's about you actually get together and lobby the government like everybody else is required to do? Matt himself says, can we just vote for the lizard people directly? That would be funnier. Go on. As we are with no change, I've not heard them come up with a solution that would work themselves. Some people don't believe that any change needs to be made. Because, you know, hang on. Let me just double check something. Demographics in Australia, cultural diversity. Okay, there we go. Australian Bureau of Statistics from 2021. Diversity from the census. Top 5 languages. No, that's not what I want. Okay. Can we clarify that this is a representation of 3.2% of the total population of Australia? In 2021, 812,000 people identified as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander. Is there a particular reason why 3.2% of the population should have such a vocal voice over the other 96.8%? I don't care who made you do what. So, pretty please, can you cover the Indian media blasting Trudeau on the news? It's so good, unless you did already. I haven't actually seen it, so I'll have a look. Where are we? I gotta get back to this. Comments were splashed on the front page of the Bunbury Herald with the heading "Racist or Just Stupid? Voice Author Slams the No Campaign." The local newspaper reported that about 100 people were at the event, which was held at the Edith Cowan University Southwest campus. In question time on Tuesday, Deputy Leader Susan Lay called on Indigenous Australians Minister Linda Burney to condemn Miss Langton's comments.
Prominent Indigenous...
We'll come to you soon, sweetheart. Don't worry about that. Ms. Burney said she very clearly wants everyone involved in the referendum to act respectfully and with care for their fellow Australians. We are a great country. We're enhanced by listening to the diversity of views and opinions. Fundamentally, the voice is about an act of listening. Is it, though? Because an advisory body to provide information to Parliament for them to listen to does not require a constitutional change. As the Yes campaign have already said, there are a number of bodies that already exist for this purpose. Why exactly does it need to be constitutionally enshrined? I'm assuming so someone's fifis aren't hurt. Of course it was ECU. Listening to some of the most disadvantaged Australians, First Nations people, listening to remote communities so we can help close the gap and improve lives, because we know that listening leads to better results. Of course, there is no room for racism of any kind in this country. Meanwhile, opposition leader Peter Dutton has been urged to condemn the tactics being used by the No campaign to dissuade voters from supporting the proposal. It comes after the 9 newspapers obtained a secret recording in which campaign organisers encouraged volunteers to use fear and doubt to persuade people to vote no. Yeah, that's not a good look. Just saying. Labor's Jason Clare accused the No campaign of using a deliberate strategy to flat out lie about the voice and urged Mr. Dutton to act against it. It's a sign of just how low the No campaign is willing to go, he said in the House of Representatives. I call on Peter Dutton today to condemn this. Look, I do too. I call on Peter Dutton to say, there is no need to use fear or, what was their exact words? Fear and, doubt. Of course we're doubting it because that's exactly what we should be doing. Using fear, though, fear-mongering, I do think is a bit... You're all Australian and either new or old. Tell that to everyone else, Dazza. The other thing that I was going to show people was the results of the Aboriginal native title claims. Because what people may not understand is that as a result of the Mabo case, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders can put in claims to take ownership, either exclusive or non-exclusive, ownership of land that is owned by the Crown. They have to prove that they have had continuous ties to the land or whatever else for however many hundreds of years. I didn't realise exactly how much of Australia had been taken over exclusively. And it actually explains a fair amount when I think about, maybe they should build a nuclear power plant out in the middle of South Australia. Turns out they probably can't. Now, I was going to show that map. Unfortunately, I seem to have lost it. I'm going to try and find it, and then I'll probably do an actual special specifically on native title. Mainly because it's an interesting area of law here in Australia that's developed after Terra Nullius was overturned. So the idea that the land belonged to no one before we arrived and colonized and all that sort of stuff. And look, I admit it. I'm a white guy. Yes, Australia was colonized. I get that. Australia, as far as I can tell, though, are the only people that have gone in, taken over an area of land, and been, shall we say, respectful and not bloodthirsty in dealing with the Indigenous inhabitants. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. There were certain situations. Yes, I get that. I'm not ignoring what happened during colonization. I'm saying that it's not like fuck. I'm not even sure how to say that without being incredibly like. I'm trying to toe the line here without getting myself yeeted. Not like the Brits did to India is an interesting way of putting it, Captain Bipto. Everywhere's been colonized, to be fair. Well, okay. So let's see if we've got the video of her talking.
The Voice campaign gets dirty and nasty. Tonight, we can exclusively show you the comments Marcia Langton made saying the no case is based on racism or sheer stupidity.
Oh yeah, I'm acutely aware how close I got to that hole.
Professor Langton is the co-author of The Voice to Parliament. She's also a scholar. Here's what she told a referendum forum in Bunbury, WA on Sunday when she was asked why so many people were undecided or were inclined to follow the message, if you don't know, vote no.
Every time the no case raises one of their arguments, if you start pulling it apart, you get down to base racism. I'm sorry to say it, but that's where it lands. Or just sheer stupidity.
Mounting the case for the yes vote, Marcia Langton also said that Australians can either trust the word of High Court judges and the judiciary or Jacinta Price.
The proposition, the question put to you on that you will vote on October 14 has been said by former High Court judges, the majority of the ex-judiciary who are allowed to say anything, in open letters to Australians. The question is safe, sound, robust and also practical. The judges, the old judges are telling you this, but Jacinta says otherwise. It's up to you as to whom you take your advice from.
Her comments so controversial they made the front page of the local paper. But here tonight we've played you what she said for the first time. She has said no voters are siding with either racism or sheer stupidity. Let's hear those remarks again.
Every time the no case raises one of their arguments, if you start pulling it apart, you get down to base racism. I'm sorry to say it, but that's where it lands. Or just sheer stupidity.
These comments became a political issue in Parliament today. Susan Ley opened question time by asking whether Indigenous Affairs Minister Linda Burney would condemn Marcia Langton's comments. Burney didn't condemn Langton directly, but she did urge respect in the debate. She also said there was no room for racism.
Moments before question time, the Australian and the Bunbury Herald reported that Professor Marcia Langton, a member of the referendum working group appointed by the minister, has accused no voters of opposing the referendum because of, quote, base racism or sheer stupidity, unquote. Will the Minister for Indigenous Australians condemn Professor Langton's comments?
I want to say this very clearly. I call on everyone involved in this referendum to act respectfully and with care for their fellow Australians.
It was a fiery question time today. There were 5 questions about The Voice to Linda Burney. We're going to come back to that in a moment. But first, the campaign has drawn in many issues that are divisive, even though they aren't directly related to The Voice to Parliament. One is the accusation from Tony Abbott and Jacinta Price that Welcome to Country ceremonies are overdone. Today, on the front page of The Australian, here is another. The revelation that Indigenous and First Nations people are being offered ticket discounts of up to $170 under new mob ticks concessions launched by the nation's elite ballet, musical, arts, cultural and sporting bodies. This includes the Australian Open, music festivals and art galleries. The Australian reports today that special mob discounts for up to 80% for Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander, Maori, Pacific Islanders and other First Nations people have been established, the Australian says, in the run-up to the October 14 referendum to enshrine an Indigenous voice advisory body in the Constitution. The Australian reports that no proof of eligibility is required to access the tickets, and those who identify as a certain race or ethnic group will have their details kept confidential. This revelation today, during the Voice campaign, makes you wonder which side it's actually going to help. There's a cost of living crisis in Australia, rising power bills, petrol prices, groceries. This is the single biggest issue facing Australian families. And this report today risks antagonising struggling non-Indigenous families. It risks heightening racial tensions that have already been roused by the referendum campaign. Prominent Indigenous activist and No campaigner Warren Mundine told Jeff Chambers and Rhiannon Down in The Australian that the decision to cut prices for First Nations people was a box-ticking exercise. He said that if institutions wanted to go down this path, the concession should be available to all disadvantaged Australians. But in Parliament today, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has denounced the tactics of the No campaign. The Sydney Morning Herald today reports,
oh, if I did that, Ghost Street, my ass would get handed to me on a platter. I am white as all hell, and I understand that. Sorry, I had to take a work call, and I just missed like that thing about the cheap tickets. I'll go back and rewatch that, frankly. But this is the sort of situation that it is, because it's literally a box-ticking exercise. Any form that comes from the government, either at state level, or at state level, at federal level, at local level, there is always a box. I just went through the enrollment forms for my daughter for school, and it was on there as well. Do you identify? And it's identify, not whether or not you are. It's do you identify as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander? If you do that, there's rental assistance, there is income assistance, there is any number of additional benefits. I mean, hell, special consideration at uni. For most part, back when I did it anyway, our understanding of it, and this was going around our class, so it's anecdotal, but our understanding was that if you identified in that manner at university, you got anywhere between an extra 5 and 10% on your exam or on your assignments to, kick you up over that pass mark. It's just, yeah. So, but anyway, I'm not gonna put you through watching the entire 12 minutes of that. But this is sort of what we're dealing with. But the annoying thing is, to me, this entire thing is one massive smoke screen. Because as I said in my video about the misinformation and disinformation bill, there are several other acts of parliament that have been snuck under the radar. Because while everyone is talking about the voice, no one's looking at what the left hand is doing. Quite literally, the left hand. So, moving to Aussie to identify as all of the above. Okay. Apparently we did actually get that video from Senator Kennedy, wherever that is. So we can have a we'll get back to that. So for those of you that are watching that missed it, Senator Kennedy reading from Blue Isn't Always Blue, Boys Aren't Always Blue and Genderqueer. We've got 7 minutes worth of that footage. We're going to go through it. I do want to go through a few other things first, though. Okay. I kind of feel like I should talk about the abortion issue on Rumble, so I'll save that one. Covered that. Oh, right. Okay. Delta Airlines found a lost passenger's dog 3 weeks after she went missing. Delta Airlines is out of the doghouse after it finally found a passenger's chihuahua that the airline lost nearly a month ago. Paula Rodriguez, who lives in the Dominican Republic, had her 6-year-old dog Maya taken from her during a layover at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport due to a visa issue, according to CNN. As Rodriguez embarked on a flight back home the next day, she was informed that Maya had gone missing. The operations team at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International found the dog Saturday hiding near the North cargo facilities. How the hell did the dog get loose? Excuse me. Airport officials noted in their post that Maya was tired but in apparent good health when she was found and was sent to a vet for evaluation. We're thankful for the teamwork that has led to her dog's recovery, a spokesperson from Delta... What? Led to the dog's... No, what? Oh, our customer's dog. Jesus. Not reading properly. Delta is working to reunite the dog with the customer as soon as possible. Rodriguez, 25, told the Post she left San Domingo with her rescue pup in tow. Oh, he was a rescue. That's... that poor thing. Tired, so someone at the airport was looking after it. No, tired, not tied up. Tired. Sorry, I need to enunciate better. She was supposed to have a brief layover in Atlanta, but border control staff at the airport told her tourist visa didn't meet the necessary requirements to continue her travel. She was told she'd have to spend the night in a detention facility, but without Maya, who was also her emotional support pet, and get back on the plane to return home on the next flight the following day. They called a Delta agent who took Maya from me, she said. Rodriguez told CNN in a previous interview that she told the Delta agent she was concerned about being separated from the dog because the dog had been in a lot of distress during the first part of the flight and puked with distress and had diarrhea when they arrived in Atlanta. Lovely. In response to her concerns, Rodriguez was told not to worry and that Maya would be taken to a facility with staff trained for that. It wasn't my wish, but I understood. There was nothing I could do, and I trusted him. Yeah, never trust... No. Rodriguez told the outlet she was supposed to be reunited with Maya the next day at their gate before their flight back to the Dominican Republic. But when she was ready to board her flight, she was told by Delta Gate agents that Maya had gone missing. She was also told that she was not allowed to stay in the United States for over 24 hours and was forced to leave to the Dominican Republic without her. Everyone who knows me knows what she means to me, Rodriguez told CNN of her beloved pet. I don't go anywhere without her. Well, you did for 3 weeks. So she's well behaved. She's so well behaved that I take her to restaurants literally everywhere. She's my partner in everything. According to a social media post, her separation from Maya caused a lot of anguish. In an updated Facebook post on August 23, Rodriguez says she did not receive any information whatsoever on Maya's whereabouts from Delta for 2 days, in which they finally informed her that they had lost Maya. Rodriguez told the Post that the airline told her that Maya never made it to the pet facility. Apparently, the distressed dog escaped from the kennel in the middle of the active runway where she was being transported. Airline workers chased after her, but she couldn't be caught. Emotional support animals are normally allowed on Delta. I don't think that was the issue. I think the issue was that she had to be put into quarantine because she was staying in the country for 24 hours. Would have been living inside the airport looking for the dog. TSA equals totally stupid assholes. Rodriguez told the Post the airline told her that Delta Airlines offered her $1,800, according to CBS News correspondent David Begnord. Rodriguez's attorney has called Delta's offer an insult. A Delta spokesperson later told Insider that the $1,800 is a sum. The $1,800 sum is not an offer of compensation. Delta people have shown empathy through many actions, gestures, and communications with their customer. That continues. As this matter is being handled by attorneys representing the customer and Delta, we will point out that what our customer is sharing is one portion of an initial conversation between attorneys and not reflective of an offer of compensation. Way to reverse out of that conversation. Never trust anyone that talks about taking you to a facility for your own good. Penny would escape, but she'd run to the closest person. Rodriguez told CNN that because of her visa issue, she wasn't allowed to fly back to Atlanta to search for Maya. So on August 24, her mum flew to Atlanta on her daughter's behalf and bought some of her clothes to plan her scent around the airport. While there, her mother also got a better idea as to why it was so difficult to find her. She said her mother told her the airport spans more than 4,000 acres. My mum told me it's scary dimensions. It's definitely a possibility that she's hiding in the airport, but she could be in a lot of places. Well, thankfully they found her and they were reunited, so that's the happy note on this. The Post notes that although they couldn't connect with Rodriguez for further comment, she did post a celebratory update on her Instagram story on Sunday, in which she said she was over the moon to find Maya. Well, good. I'm happy that Papa found its way home. That has to be a stock photo, but that's still funny. So, got that. Sardines have been blamed for a deadly botulism outbreak at a Bordeaux restaurant. Ordinarily, women will pay upwards of an obscene amount of money in order to have botulism injected into their lines. However, in this instance, a woman has died after eating sardines at a restaurant, and 12 other people, mostly foreigners, are being treated for the rare condition, French health officials said on Wednesday. Botulism is a serious neurological illness typically brought on by eating food that has been improperly preserved. The city centre restaurant had preserved the sardines itself, the DGS health authority said on late Tuesday. Yeah, nope. If a restaurant is fermenting their own stuff, I'm out. At Bordeaux's Pellegrin Hospital, Dr. Benjamin Clouzot, oh, you gotta be kidding me, Clouzot, are you serious? Said the woman had checked into a hospital near Paris after travelling back with her partner. She returned home and died there. Her partner remains in intensive care. In total, 12 people are still recovering from emergency treatment on Wednesday, health services said. 5 were on respiratory support. They include an American, Irish, German, and Canadian national. A German travelled home for treatment, as did a resident of Barcelona, Spain. All of them had eaten at the restaurant, the Chin Chin Wine Bar, between September 4 and 10, when there were typically a large number of tourists in the southwestern town, famous for wine and food. They all had the sardines that had been stored by the restaurant owner in jars himself. Botulism is deadly in 5 to 10% of cases because the toxin can be generated by Clostridium botulinum bacteria. I hope I got that right. I don't know. I don't care. The French aren't hygienic. Who knew? When preserved food is insufficiently sterilised. Authorities were still running tests at the restaurant, the DGS said, adding that it could not rule out further cases of botulism, which has an incubation period of several days. They were trying to contact other people who may have eaten the sardines at the restaurant. A total of 25 people could be affected. The illness can cause muscle paralysis lasting several days, and the most immediate danger stemming from affected respiratory muscles. Yeah, it literally freezes your ability to breathe. Yes, he was preserving the fish in jars. Yep. Now also famous for botulism and death. An international health alert has gone out asking hospitals to look out for patients who have recently been in Bordeaux and have symptoms including diarrhea, vomiting, problems with vision or speech. Antitoxins from military stocks were being brought to Bordeaux. That's how bad it was. They had to call in the army. Isabel, it's literally the stuff that women inject into their face so they don't get wrinkles. You know, it paralyzes your face. What do you think it's going to do to your internal organs when you ingest it? Shit freezes. Local newspaper Sudoost quoted the restaurant owner saying that he had thrown out some of the jars containing the sardines because of a strong smell from the containers when opened. Then why? Why would you serve any of them to customers if you felt the need to throw them out? Others appeared in good condition and were served up to customers. The restaurant was closed on Wednesday, and the owner was told to abstain from any more homemade sardine preparations, with authorities seizing the remaining sardines for further testing. Oh, good God, that's going to be where the next thing of COVID comes from fucking sardines. Oh, shit. See ya. They promptly surrendered. The restaurant was closed. The establishment has never had never had previous hygiene will be the establishment which never had previous hygiene will be thoroughly cleaned. I'm gonna say that they've left a word out of there, either deliberately or accidentally. I'm gonna say never had previous hygiene issues, but it's funnier saying had never had previous hygiene. The newspaper name Sudoost translates to Southwest in English. Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay. Oh no. Did I close that? Oh, I think I closed that. In what may be one of the most ridiculous cases of assault and battery, a sucker has been busted for a Lollypop battery at a Family Dollar store. A confrontation yesterday at a Family Dollar store resulted in an arrest of an armed man, records show. His weapon? A lollipop! Police said that Dalton Reed, 24, was in line waiting to check out at a convenience store in Clearwater, Florida, when he got into a verbal argument with the store manager, David Jondrew. As the dispute escalated, Reed allegedly threw a lollipop at him, striking him in the chest. Luckily, the lollipop liquor did not cause bodily harm, according to the arrest affidavit. I need to see this affidavit. Reed was arrested for simple battery. Cops tacked on a possession of drug paraphernalia charge when a post-arrest search reportedly turned up a crack pipe in one of his pockets. No weapon was seized by Clearwater Police Department officers. Reed remains in county lockup, where bond has been set at $650 for the 2 misdemeanor charges. Reed, pictured left, it has an extensive rap sheet with convictions for grand theft, DUI, narcotic possession, loitering, prowling, and retail theft. A judge has ordered Reed to stay away from the dollar store and have no contact with Chondro. I think that still might be one of the best insults I've ever heard. You're about as useful as a cock-flavored lollipop. I love that. Wait, what's that from? I think it's Dodgeball, isn't it? Yeah. What's that? Did then and intentionally touch or strike David Jondrew against the will of David Jondrew and did not cause bodily harm. While waiting in line to be wrung out, he got into a verbal argument with the Family Dollar store manager. While arguing with the manager in line, he threw a lollipop at him, physically hitting him in the chest. The incident was caught on camera and witnessed by an employee. Dalton did not wish to speak with us. Oh, goodness me. Alright, where are we? Okay, I'm trusting you guys to give me some elaboration on this one, because I have no idea why it's important. Newsom says California will intervene in court case blocking San Francisco from clearing encampments. California Governor Gavin Newsom said on Tuesday the state will intervene in an ongoing federal case that's barred San Francisco from cleaning up homeless encampments until more shelter beds are available, saying the judge has gone too far and is preventing the state from solving a critical problem. I hope this goes to the Supreme Court, he said, and that's a hell of a statement coming from a progressive Democrat. Newsom made his remarks during an interview with the news outlet Politico in Sacramento. He previously blasted U.S. Magistrate Judge Donna Ryu in an interview with the San Francisco Chronicle, but had not disclosed his administration's plan to file an amicus brief supporting the city's efforts to overturn the ruling. Ryu granted the injunction in December after homeless advocates argued the city had been violating the law by clearing homeless encampments without offering shelter and improperly throwing out people's belongings, such as cell phones and medication. Trusting us, that's pretty naive of you. Look, trust might be a strong word. Her decision has drawn rebuke from Democratic leaders in San Francisco who argued in the appellate court last month for a reversal of the decision. They say the ruling has made it nearly impossible to clean up the city's streets and that more people are refusing shelter even when it's available. Newsom, the former San Francisco mayor, said he's personally worked on cleaning up 3 encampments near San Francisco, but his staff stopped him from cleaning up a 4th due to the court ruling. More broadly, Newsom said federal judges are ruling with a perverse interpretation of the court ruling, stemming from a case in Boise, Idaho, that said cities can't prosecute people for sleeping on the streets if they have nowhere else to go. I think they've gone too far, he said. California is home to roughly 1/3 of the nation's population of homeless people, a problem that has dogged Newsom since he took office. He's touted that his administration spent billions aimed at cleaning up the streets and housing people, but acknowledged the stubbornness of the issue. People's lives are at risk. It's unacceptable what's happening on the streets and sidewalks, he said. He added, we are now complicit, all of us, at all levels of government and all branches of government. Wow. Did he literally just... Excellent. He just blamed Biden for California's homelessness problem. Excellent. Supreme's already ruled long ago that you can't really touch the homeless on public land. Alright, where are we? In a wide-ranging interview, Newsom reiterated his support for the Democratic President Joe Biden to run for re-election. Oh, Jesus. He has repeatedly said he has no plans to challenge Biden or run for president, instead traveling the country as a surrogate for Biden. He's also raising money and campaigning alongside Democrats in Republican-led states, a move that also serves to build his national network of political support. Yeah, right. He's not looking to run at any point, is he? Newsom also said that he plans to travel to China in the coming weeks to bend over and take it from Xi Jinping and discuss joint efforts to tackle climate change. He provided no additional details about the trip. Newsom was asked about the newly disclosed effort by Silicon Valley billionaires to build a new city between San Francisco and Sacramento. He said the project leaders needed to win back trust from officials if they hoped to move forward after keeping the project secret for years as they bought up massive amounts of land in Solano County. They're starting a little behind in my book because of all the intrigue and the questions created by their secrecy, Newsom said. Yeah, because a whole bunch of people probably didn't want a whole bunch of other people to take benefit of it and, I don't know, create red tape or additional issues or just jump on the bandwagon so they can make a quick buck. Newsom's going to run for pres guaranteed. That's what I'm thinking. Newsom also said that he plans to travel, blah, blah, blah. They started. Yeah, all right, that's fine. We're almost there. He added people were asking him what the hell is going on, and he learned who was behind the project just minutes before it was reported in the New York Times. He declined to offer comment on the substance of the proposal and said he will meet with one of the project's representatives next week, although he didn't say whom. Yes, I'm acutely aware that we have a professional troll, but still life knows that there is a line, and look, I unbanned him to give him a chance to life behave, okay? At the moment, there are no mods in chat. Oh, actually, was Marty still here, or is he off doing his show? Behave. That's all I'm saying. All right, where are we? While we're talking about the Democrats, I kind of feel like I wanted to save this one for Kinky Corner, but I don't know that I'm going to get to it. So, Democratic Virginia House candidate performs sex acts with husband on webcam for tips. Oh, she got the tip all right. A Democratic candidate for the Virginia House of Delegates performed sex acts with her husband online and asked her virtual audience to pitch in with tips, the Post has learned. Susanna Gibson, a mother of 2 children who is running in a competitive race to represent District 57 in Richmond, showed quite a bit more than skin in the adult streaming website Chaturbate, according to screenshots of archived material reviewed by the Post. I don't believe you for a second that all you reviewed was screenshots from the archived material. Because without going into too much detail for research purposes, I can confirm the entire video is still on the hub. The 40-year-old nurse practitioner hosted more than a dozen of the live romps with her husband on the platform, which was then posted to a publicly accessible archive on the website Recubate in September 22, after she declared her candidacy, the Washington Post reported. Gibson has also maintained her Chaturbate profile after having announced her campaign in July 22, uploading at least one picture of herself on a sex streaming site the following month, according to the screenshot obtained by the Post. The unconventional candidate, who has more than 5,770 followers, whom she repeatedly pressed for more tokens in exchange for certain acts in private showings, added that she was raising money for a good cause. She was raising money so that she could run. Oh my god. Real talk, if so many chicks are on OnlyFans and Chaturbate, do they not deserve representation? Not being an ass, being real. It's a good point, Mighty, and I have gone back and forth on how I feel over this particular article many times. Because on the one hand, I'm all for sexual expression. On the other hand, I generally prefer it to be behind closed doors. On the other hand, I'm all for freedom of sex work because we don't have an issue with it here. This one's got me very conflicted. I mean, look, if she has people that are willing to vote for her to get her into the position, phrasing, I know, but then look, more power to her. I don't think that people have, like, she's just gonna have to put up with the slut shaming though, because everyone else has the right to criticize her for it. So Committee to protect getting that butt. She didn't even delete it. Clearly, it's her backup career. I don't think it's even so much that it was a backup career. I think it's something that she is either proud of or she doesn't see as an issue. And I'm not... In other videos, she suggested that she and her husband have tried swapping with different partners as she is ethically non-monogamous, but that he doesn't like sharing. Committee to protect healthcare endorsed. I mean, she's not an unattractive woman either. Like, that's the, you know? I mean, to be fair, aside from Lindsey Graham, oh, you know what? No, I'm not going there. Aside from certain other individuals, who can say that they have all of their bits out there on the internet for everyone to see? Gibson often thanked her viewers after the tokens arrived, and her husband, a lawyer, in at least one case, echoed her requests. Chatterbait's terms and conditions state requesting or demanding specific acts for tips may result in a ban from the platform for all parties involved. Okay, so she was playing with fire anyway. In a statement to the Washington Post, Gibson called the publicly posted videos an illegal invasion of my privacy designed to humiliate me and my family. I'm sorry, what? Hang on. In a statement to the Washington Post, she called the publicly posted videos... Oh, she's not talking about them being posted on the archive or on Chatterbait. She's saying the videos being posted elsewhere and bandied about are an invasion of her privacy. I got news for you. Italy voted in a porn star. Well, there is that. It was a career in her back, all right. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Have a link to the video for research. Look, no, I don't. And in no way can I say that searching hot wife experience in a private tab in Google will show the video. In no way can I endorse that. But obviously there are a whole heap of people out there looking to scam people. There's, from what I understand, there's a whole bunch of websites out there that are sort of riding off of this. And they've got like fake scam videos and all that sort of stuff taking you to bad websites. Just be careful, people, if you do go searching for it yourself, is all I'm going to say. Yes, her hubby fully endorses it, apparently. She needs a Murphy beard. Sorry, I'm just quickly scrolling through chat because I got a little bit behind. Lose privacy when you post a publicly accessible website. Not only that, I do think that a certain level of scrutiny is involved when you run for office as well. But yes, in this case, I think that she put it all behind her. Well, she put something behind her. But hey, I mean, all power to her. If she thinks she can get it in, if she thinks she can assume the position of authority within... I can't even do it. If people vote her in, that's all up to them, okay? Clearly, she's got a voter base. She's got people that she wants to represent. And she thinks she's got a shot. So you know what, lady? Swing for the fences and best of luck to you. She took it all in and put it behind her. Absolutely. All right. Okay, news. Oh, for crying out loud. Excuse me. Sorry about the burping, people. New smoking laws for Australia target cunning tactics of big tobacco. New laws aimed at curbing smoking and addiction to tobacco products in Australia will be introduced into federal parliament today. Remember what I was saying about a whole smoke screen? About the voice that I think the voice is a big smoke screen to get certain other pieces of legislation through? Yeah, look, I'm not a smoker, but I'm not happy with them trying to curtail people's freedom of choice in this manner. I saw this on the news last night and I was very not happy. The government said the legislation represented the biggest anti-smoking reforms in 12 years and aimed to help Australians kick the habit that costs 20,000 lives every year. And yet the Australian Capital Territory is decriminalising pretty much every major type of illicit substance. Cigarettes and vapes will be required to carry improved health warnings about their dangers, including on individual cigarettes. They're going to have a warning printed on the side of the cigarette itself saying this will kill you. Because it's not as if burning a whole bunch of ink or other components that will form the basis of those warnings is going to in any way contribute to, I don't know, lung cancer or anything else. The left is conservative in Oz? No. No, it's just, it's really stupid because of the way the parties are named. So the Liberal Party are our conservatives, the Labor Party are our left, and they're currently in power. How much is a pack of cigarettes in Australia? Actually, that's a good point. The last time I checked it was about $50 for a pack of 24. Let me double check. Cigarettes. Cigarette. You can do, what is it? No, Nicorette. You can beat the cigarette. Okay, we'll have a look at Coles. I actually have to enter my date of birth so that they will even let me look at the website. Okay, so let's have a look. This is what it already looks like in terms of advertising, okay? Even when you're shopping, they've got to put these images up with the quit line on it. Quitting will help you improve your health. Call quit line. Pack of 20 is currently $32.95 for a pack of Bong Classic Blues. Rothmans. How much is a pack of 50? Pack of 25s. Pack of 25s for Winnie Blues. Jesus Christ, $45. Gold 25s are $45. Good God, it's not a good time to be addicted to nicotine. Pack of 40s, $63. A 30 pack of JPS, $52. Bloody hell. Not YouTube, in case you're watching, I'm in no way trying to promote smoking. Looks like they're trying to buy speed from China, not a joke. Add to that the chemicals that they already have for fire safety. What's even the point when you're paying more than $8 a pack? Well, the size of the cigarette packets will also be standardized, and the use of additives such as menthol will be banned from cigarettes and vapes. Yep, those that smoke menthols, Alpine Extra Lights, they're gone. Menthol tobacco, gone. I've got no idea if I can show it on I Am Dave. I mean, we'll soon find out. If I get a community strike, if anyone that's watching this and I get a content strike, I'll be over on Rumble. Other reforms, where are we? Size of packets will be standardized. Yep. Other reforms include limiting the use of appealing product names and requiring health promotion information to be inserted into the packets. Health Minister Mark Butler said the overhaul builds on the reforms introduced 12 years ago and targets tobacco manufacturers. Since the inception of plain packaging, Big Tobacco has become increasingly creative and cunning with their marketing tactics. This legislation will allow Australia to reclaim its position as a world leader on tobacco control. How about you fuck right off? How about you stop trying to control every single aspect of our lives? I'm fucking over it. Smoking is the leading cause of preventable death in Australia and disability in Australia and kills more than 50 people every day. Yes, but that is a death by choice. If individuals want to quit, they will seek out the services. If they are happy spending their money on tobacco, they will do so. It is a matter of personal choice. The government does not have that right to have such a reach. Yes, leave the control shit to New Zealand, exactly. This is why people try to bring so many cigarettes back when they travel. Yeah, and they introduced a fucking customs thing on it. I didn't realize this, and it's why I freaked the hell out when I was coming back. Because as it turns out, at the border, you have to declare if you're bringing back more than $800 worth of stuff. So if you look at the prices on some of those cigarettes, if you bring in more than, say, 12 packets of smokes, so 2 cartons, yeah, you have to pay duty on top of it as well. Cigs, then alcohol. I like to have a cig with my bourbon. No, look, they're making too much money off alcohol, and it's too ingrained in society. I think it's, me not smoking is way more than 50 deaths per day. Okay, government aims to reduce the national smoking rate to less than 10% by 2025 and 5% or less by 2023. It wants to cut the rate amongst Indigenous Australians to 27%. Alcohol's in her blood, pun intended. How do people afford cigarettes? They go without food. I am not kidding you. All right, where are we? A Tennessee man has pled guilty to threatening a Little Caesars worker with an AK-47 over a wait for pizza. Man, he really wanted that Hawaiian. A Tennessee man has pled guilty to threatening a Little Caesar employee with an AK-47 when his pizza order was not hot and ready. Charles Dottie Jr., 64, admitted that he pointed the high-powered rifle at the face of a staffer who was working her first day at the chain in Knoxville in November 2021 because he felt his pizza order was taking too long. He ordered a pepperoni pie, but became impatient when he was told it'd take 10 minutes. He left the restaurant and returned with the AK-47 while demanding a free order of Little Caesars Crazy Bread over the wait. Oh, jeez. He comes in, the gun is pointed down a little bit, the new employee said. Then I look at it, my eyes drop to the gun, and he literally pulls it up and points it at me and says, "Where's my pizza? I want my pizza now." Another employee attempted to leave the restaurant. Dottie allegedly asked him where the hell he thought he was going, according to a police report. I never expected someone to come in over a $6 pizza that you paid for with a gun. Another customer who had just received her pie handed it to him to diffuse the situation. He left with the customer's pizza before cops arrived in response to the 911 call. Another staffer at the pizzeria said he was too shocked since the wait wasn't even that long. It wasn't even a 10-minute wait when he came in with the gun. If he had not come in with the gun and waited another 2, maybe 3 minutes, it would have been boxed in his hands. Dottie pled guilty to 4 counts of aggravated assault on August 23, the Smoking Gun reported. He will be sentenced on September 29. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so where's my video? Oh, there it is. Okay. Reset that. Oh, God's sakes. News Channel 8 does not like me. Good Samaritan rescues a driver from a burning car after he crashed into Seminole building. A St. Petersburg man is speaking out after his heroic efforts were caught on camera as he rescued a driver trapped in a burning car. Look, good on him, but still dangerous. Yes, it was very hangry. Travis Dupont was on his way home from work at around 3:30 a.m. on Sunday when he saw a flash in the sky. As he got closer, he realized the driver had crashed into the second time around consignment on Seminole Boulevard. I ran right to the driver's window, saw the man unconscious. I reached in, shook him, started yelling at him, as you do. It was extremely loud. It shook my house, said Stephanie Turo. The sound got Turo out of bed. Once on the scene, she started recording video as DuPont tried to wake up the trapped driver. I was like, "Hey man, you gotta move your legs! You gotta move your legs!" Once he noticed the flames, DuPont knew he had no time to waste. He picked him up like a baby and just scooped him up, ran all the way over with him. It was absolutely amazing. DuPont pulled the driver out with only seconds to spare. He estimates that within 5 or 10 seconds, the car burst into flames and then exploded. Hit a cow once. Fucking thing exploded. If you would have been 30 seconds too late, he would have been in those flames. It makes me want to cry now, just because it was a very, very scary moment. Yeah, he's very lucky to be alive. The officer said I did a good job. It was fist bumps all around, you know? Pat on the head. Feel good about that, getting the compliments from the big guys. Florida Highway Patrol is investigating the crash. The 28-year-old driver was taken to hospital for treatment and is expected to be okay. Okay, where are we? Got that. Quickly running through these, which I'm very happy about. Oh, yes. When the hell did eviction parties become a thing? Physical fights erupt at an eviction party thrown by a Berkeley Landlord Association. Following the altercations at a party celebrating the end of Berkeley's eviction moratorium on Tuesday evening, the Berkeley Property Owners Association released a statement condemning the protests and voicing disappointment in the City of Berkeley and Berkeley Police Department's response. We condemn the actions of hostile dissidents who disrupted a private gathering at a local restaurant to intimidate, harass, and physically assault our members who are law-abiding small business owners, read part of a statement which was shared with SFGate. Oh, I hate it when they do this. They start at the bottom and then work their way up, which means I've got to... Okay. In a move that critics are calling one of the most tasteless events I've ever heard of, Berkeley landlords are celebrating the end of eviction protections in this East Bay area with a cocktail party. The Berkeley Properties Owners Association, a trade group for rental property owners in Berkeley, apparently believes regaining the right to throw people out of their homes is a cause for celebration, or at least a networking event. The fall social mixer, celebrating the end of the eviction moratorium, is set for the evening of 12 September. The event was first spotted by Berkeley side. Oh, this was prior to it actually happening. Berkeley, like many other Bay Area municipalities, began a moratorium on most evictions at the beginning of the bug in March 2020. The moratorium lasted over 3 years, but expired on September 1, 2023. The mixer will be held, ironically, at a bar named Freehouse, a tap room next to the UC Berkeley campus. We will celebrate the end of the eviction moratorium and talk about what's upcoming through the end of the year, reads the event notice. Tickets for the mixer are $20, but are only available to BPOA members. They claim renters abused the moratorium to weasel out of paying rent. We make no qualms about celebrating the end of the eviction moratorium. We're celebrating the end of tenants who could have paid rent and chose not to. That's a little different than what it's being portrayed as. Others disagree. Leah Simon Weisberg, chair of the Berkeley Rent Stabilization Board, denies the charge that many tenants could have paid rent and chose not to, calling it nonsense and saying that BPOA have not provided any evidence of fraud when it came to the eviction moratorium. Simon Weisberg found it particularly troubling that the BPOA decided to celebrate evicting tenants at the time when the COVID rates were starting to pick back up. While the moratorium is over, the bug continues to spread in the community. Hospitalizations and deaths are on the rise. It seems very insensitive to those who might be rendered homeless to celebrate eviction. Simon Weisberg said that while the event was completely in character for the BPOA, it did not represent the views of the majority of Berkeley landlords. She said most landlords were very generous and patient and really worked to help their tenants during the worst of the bug. Controversy around the housing issue is nothing new in the Bay Area. The high cost of housing has been a long-time problem in the region, especially for UC Berkeley students. Did I do Trudeau in India yet? No, not yet. Hang on. Oh, shit. How do you spell his name? Just spelled it with an X. I don't even think that's accurate. Let's see. Trudeau outdoes himself with another disastrous trip. India sees off Trudeau. Okay, can someone send me something about him getting laughed at? Because all I'm seeing is just that he's left. Had a heart attack. Told me it was because of cholesterol. Then my doc kept telling me to quit smoking before I had another heart attack. Pulled out my cog pack and said these don't have any cholesterol. Oh, shit. Okay, close that, close that, close that, so I can keep track of things. Browns fan has made a mighty beer toss to a man on a river freighter. I thought this was awesome. The Cleveland Browns solidly beat the Cincinnati Bengals in their season opener on Sunday, but the football teams weren't the only ones to make major plays that drizzly day in downtown Cleveland. Fan Andrew Butts out of Rocky River was captured throwing a can of beer to a willing participant on the American Courage freighter, which was rolling down the Cuyahoga River that morning. Butts and his buddies had been pre-gaming on the banks of the river when he told Fox 8 the idea came on the fly. Literally, dude, hold my beer. A friend of mine sees the ship pass and he says, "Hey man, want a beer?" Guy says, "Absolutely, but you can't make that throw." I'm like, "Challenge accepted." He tosses me a garage beer and I put a seed on the guy. I put it right on him. Video of the epic pass recorded by Butts' cousin has caught the attention of many on social media, including the person who Butts tossed the can of garage beer. David Lieberman posted a photo of the beer can on the ship following the spot-on throw, saying presumably to Butts, "I bet you wouldn't make it and you did, so I need to pay up." Congratulations. Butts, who along with a couple of his friends is credited with the infamous Super Bowl Super Browns catchphrase, said his throwing accuracy goes back to his days of playing football for Holy Name High School in Palmer Heights. Where's the video?
And of course, the big dog. Well, it looks like there is a new...
Wait, what? How did that happen? I haven't even logged back in.
because of this video before Sunday's game in Cleveland. Check it out.
I'll just play the damn video. You don't want to does this shit.
Oh, that's got a shot.
That's pretty cool. Like, that's a hell of a throw. Wait. Oh, come on. Just...
Got a shot.
Okay, point is, man throws beer, man happy, man drinks beer. And we'll just say it's in Discord.
Garage Beer is capitalizing on this incredible moment. On their website, they are now selling T-shirts, dubbing the Cuyahoga Catch. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? The description on the website reads, celebrate the receiver connection of all time from land. We tracked down the gunslinger with the golden arm to ask him about this magic moment.
And there's a ship passing, and he yells to the guy on the ship, "Hey, man, want a beer?" And he waves. He's like, "Yeah, I'd love one, but you can't make that throw." I'm like, challenge accepted. So a buddy of mine tosses me a garage beer. I wind up and I put a seed right on the guy. I put it right on him.
A seed right in the basket. He caught it. He said it was about 200 feet away. That's about, he said between 50 and 65 yards is how long he chucked that can of beer. Side note, Andy there was already a legendary figure among Cleveland Browns fans. He and his friends are credited with originating the epic chant, Super Bowl, Super Browns, which can, of course, be heard all over Ken Carman's radio show, of course.
So there you go. Now, thank you very much for passing that on. Hopefully, hang on, is my audio crappy? I've still got Discord open. Hang on. I hate that it does it, and I have no idea why. Okay, let's make fun of Trudeau. No, I'm not subscribing. Bite me. Okay. Trudeau is now being laughed at. The reaction no politician wants. Suck it, Trudeau! There's a rule of thumb in politics that goes something like, it's okay to be feared, disliked, or even loathed, just as long as you're not being laughed at and mocked. Yet the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is now finding himself after being teased for his new haircut. Bowl cut. The comparisons came in right away. Trudeau's close-cropped new look made him look a dead ringer for Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. If you haven't seen the film, the title tells you all you need to know. It's not good to be compared to the character. From E.T. Canada to Hollywood blogs, word got around that people are poking fun at Trudeau. Those who are already biased against the PM went all in on the mockery, but that's to be expected and can be written off as typical partisan disdain. What's notable about this episode, though, is that it's a much broader affair that went beyond usual political chat sphere. Did you see Trudeau's new haircut? Doesn't he look like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber? Was the political water cooler topic of the weekend. Not for people who follow politics, but specifically for people who don't follow it. It'll be interesting to see if the PM acknowledges the issue. Oh, as if. Tell you what, though, if he shaves his head, it'll be even better. If he doesn't, it leaves him open to the possibility of sitting at home humorlessly stewing about it. A savvy move for Trudeau would be to own it and laugh at himself. He'd probably win over 110% of the country, I highly doubt that, if he posted to social media something like, if you thought this was good, just wait till you see Doug Ford in the Jeff Daniels wig. Okay. Once you get in on the joke, you can flip it around from people laughing at you to people laughing with you. It's interesting that Dumb and Dumber is where people went right away with that, though. What does that tell us? It said that the best negative ads are the ones that accentuate what people are already thinking about a politician in the first place. A negative ad can't be a total stretch. If it is, nobody goes along with it. Something similar is happening here. Yeah, okay. Lol, but seriously, I've made fun of Trudeau for years. Okay, where are we? After all, his haircut also looks very much like Russell Crowe in Gladiator, a brave, strong, valiant hero, yet the comparison doesn't warrant a mention. I don't think he looks anything like Russell Crowe in Gladiator. Are you kidding me? If we're in the back of everyone's mind that they already thought Trudeau looked like along Gladiator lines, this could have been an image that went viral, but that's not what happened. It seems like regular Canadians were already thinking subconsciously that their Prime Minister was more of a wacky character out of a screwball comedy than a commanding, serious president. Wacky character out of screwball comedy. Pathetic, no talent, low life, maybe, in my own personal opinion. But anyway. If Trudeau was currently riding high and the country was being governed well, this little episode would be a meaningless chuckle. But coupled with the fact that Canadians are looking at the absolute messes at the airports, passport offices, and broader community, it helps shape new perspectives of the man. The old saying goes that the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is a couple of days. That's all the mileage this story is likely to have on it, and you can bet the Liberal leader is not going to opt for this style again. But it was still interesting to see how the entertainment sites that once boasted swooning stories about Trudeau are now talking about whether or not he compares to a dimwit who drives around in a dog cart peeing into empty beer bottles. I mean, look, I can definitely see it that... Good God, I can't look at his face. Just can't do it. Okay. And finally, before we finish off the video of Kennedy reading that stuff, Brian Kohberger trial, just an update there. Battle over whether or not the cameras will be in court as Americans consume televised trials at record rates. It's not just Americans, although I get that Fox News is pandering to their demographic, so I'm not gonna take too much of a sideswipe at them for that. Idaho student murderer suspect Brian Kohberger is due in court today at the Luther County, and as a Luther County judge will consider whether to allow cameras in the court during future proceedings. I'm not impressed with the views of either side wanting to shut down the camera coverage, said Royal Oakes, a longtime media lawyer and general counsel for the Radio and Television News Association of South Carolina. That's right, both sides of the divide here want to keep the cameras out of the court. Plaintiffs don't want to be scrutinized. The defense say that it's going to bias the jury. I'm fairly confident the defense argument can go out the window right now, because if there is anyone that isn't biased about this guy, they are under a freaking rock. Aren't you a nice guy, Ozzy? No, not so much. Right. The defense said he's arguing against the media presence, claiming it could promote juror bias, and that pictures the defendant violated directly from the judge at a June 27 hearing. He warned lawyers for the media group to be ready to defend the places of cameras in court. Yeah, because how else do we get to see like dickheads like Gravely? Or imagine if the Heard trial had not been televised. The media would put whatever spin on that they wanted. We wouldn't see half the shit that we do. Don't want the public to see how much corruption is in the court? Well, there is that too. The solution is to bar the offenders and punish them by contempt of court, Oakes told Fox News Digital. The solution is not to stop a valuable function of transparency. And the jury selection process is already designed to weed out bias. Prosecutors have argued that allowing cameras in the courtroom would discourage witnesses or infringe on a Sixth Amendment right to a fair trial, all claims that Oakes rejects. I think it would be a shame if the judge went along with the views of the party simply because they're the ones in the courtroom. For the judge to do that really would be spitting in the eye of the general public. The public pays for the courtroom, they pay for the lawmakers who create the rules that apply in the courtroom. The public is entitled to see its legal system at work. The issue is up to the judge, however, and over the years it has come up repeatedly in high-profile trials that have been on camera with mixed results. Then they go through a bunch of different cases that have been televised. You had the OJ case, which I'm sure many of you are already going through watching with Jeff and Chandler. Then they had the Ted Bundy case, Casey Anthony, and Alex Murdoch, just because they could. They're all different because they all have such other outside influences, said David Gelman, a New Jersey defense attorney. OJ, there was a racial component to it. Casey Anthony, it was just a total circus, if you will. And the others, when you think of Alex Murdoch and Ted Bundy, the evidence was just so overwhelming, I think the jury saw that. I'm sorry, where the fuck was the overwhelming evidence in the Murdoch case? Differences of adults versus kids. Well, Gelman, who said he has tried cases both as a prosecutor and defense attorney with cameras in court, said he believes the public has a right to have cameras in court, and he suggested that it can benefit both sides, but that it's ultimately up to the judge. He has also said that it's becoming increasingly difficult to sequester juries during a trial. Even if it's on TV or off TV, the juries are supposed to be sequestered. I don't know how judges are going to be able to instruct juries much longer by saying don't look at the news, don't talk to anybody, because it's almost impossible for an individual, if they're on their cell phone, not to get some type of information from the trial from an outside source. A hearing on the motion to remove cameras in the Kohberger's case is scheduled for 2 p.m. Pacific time. When was this? So theoretically, that hearing should have already happened. Because I looked at this last night, and that was like... Yeah, so this was yesterday. Okay. Hang on, let me just check. Camera rolling. And of course, there's nothing about it. Why would there be? Oh, there it is, 3 hours ago. Judge has not made a decision. Of course not. Judge has not made a decision on whether or not cameras will be allowed in the court for the trial. Defense argued that having cameras in the court prevents the defendant from having a fair trial. Court was in session. Oh, look, the media attorneys turned out and started arguing. Yes, says the media has a right to intervene where there are access issues. Olsen also stated the cameras in the courtroom were a part of access. It allows broader access for people to see firsthand what's happening in the courtroom. Judge John Judge, stated in response to having cameras in the courtroom may not fall under the First Amendment right, but Olsen argued that the media should have broader access due to the need for the public to see what's happening. The judge recalled an Idaho Supreme Court case regarding the press's right to intervene in states was somewhat limited. He's leaning towards keeping the cameras out. Defense expressed to the judge that they don't want this to turn into a TV drama, claiming photographers in the courtroom are doing well, but that editors are tampering with the video. They want cameras fully out during the trial. Another point that the defense argues is that cameras are being positioned in a way in direct view of the computer screens. To solve that issue, Judge suggests installing a camera at the back of the courtroom that may please everybody. Well, you'll have to be freaking careful not to catch the jury. As the state began their argument, they expressed that they want to protect graphic images and vulnerable witnesses from exposure. Olsen stated that the journalists covering the case are experienced and understand appropriate boundaries. Court TV was another option brought to the court's attention by Olsen. They have experience working with the courts and appropriately taping hearings in a fair manner. Judge mentioned the O.J. Simpson trial. He called this high-profile case a circus, referencing the media coverage. He stated that he wished everybody had a little more respect for what's happening here. You want more respect for it? Open your courtroom. Have the cameras in. Everyone has a right to view what's going on in there. I've got to make more of a push for cameras here, frankly. Stated that he wished responded to the judge, arguing that it's more important today to have the cameras in the courtroom to show the judicial process so there isn't misinformation spread afterwards. The public and the community are best served if cameras are in the courtroom. He'll be taking the arguments under consideration with no ruling on the case today, and there was no indication on when a decision will be made. Well, I'll keep an eye on it, and I'm sure others will know about it before I will, but I will certainly do my best to get the information out there. Judge can get a TV show if this trial's filmed. He would be an idiot to deny them. Yeah, but then you've got arguments about bias and whether or not it's appropriate for it and all sorts of... Yeah, I'm not really going to make that argument. So that's that. All right, let's watch this video, shall we? And see how badly this goes. And so, where are we? Present. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Entire screen. Screen 2. Share system audio. All right. Why is my video so far out? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. All right, let's have a look at this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I confess I'm a little confused, and I appreciate the argument or discussion that we've been having, but for me, it's a little too conceptual or I don't know, metaphysical or theological or whatever you want to call it. I want to try to understand what you're asking us to do.
Did you say theological?
Two books that have been much discussed. The first one is called All Boys Aren't Blue, and I will quote from it. I put some lube on and got him on his knees, and I began to slide into him from behind. I pulled out of him and kissed him while he masturbated. He asked me to turn over while
I'm pretty sure that's what he meant.
Condom on himself. This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine someone inside me. He got on top and slowly inserted himself into me. It was the worst pain I think I have ever felt in my life. Eventually, I felt a mix of pleasure with the pain. Close quote. All boys aren't blue.
Okay. Less funny the second time around, obviously. Where is a time machine? So these are quotes from books that are actually already in libraries that they're talking about potentially trying to ban them or whatever else. Yes, we're in the future, American Legend. This is the Barney Frank memoirs? What? He does the Matlock timing. Yes, he does.
The second is another much discussed book. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's called Genderqueer. Okay. Let me read an excerpt from that. Quote, I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life.
Wait. Oh, okay. No, wait, hang on. Is this... I thought the whole point... Okay, I think I may have skipped something here. I'm sure you're familiar with this. What? I was trying to think, okay, who the hell is wearing the strap-on harness then? I mean, I thought this was supposed to be two individuals that were of the same gender. It's just twigged to me. Oh, hey, we may also be talking about a straight couple, and she may be wanting to put on the strap-on with her favorite dildo. Take me out to dinner first, at least. Well, yeah, it took me a second.
Then I want you inside of me. End quote. Now, Mr. Secretary, what are you asking us to do? Are you suggesting that only librarians should decide whether the two books that I just referenced should be available to kids? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay. Tell me what you're saying.
Well, first of all, there's this...
Don't give me a speech. Tell me what you're asking me to do.
With all due respect, Senator, and the words you spoke are disturbing, especially coming out of your mouth is very disturbing. But I would also tell you that we're not advocating for kids to read porn, to Senator Booker's point.
What are you advocating for?
We are advocating for parents, random parents, not to have the ability, under the guise of keeping kids safe, to try and challenge the world view of every single manner on these issues.
You're getting conceptual game.
I'm not getting conceptual.
I was going to say, he's going for the forest over the trees, though.
I want to know what you're recommending. It sounds to me like what some of you are saying, the librarians should decide who gets to see that book.
I'm saying when individual parents are allowed to make a decision of where that line is, and To Kill a Mockingbird, which involves a rape scene, should that book be pulled from our libraries? I think it becomes a slippery slope.
Oh, for God's sakes, that is two completely different things. To Killing Mockingbird, obviously, yes, it has certain concepts in it that are disturbing. There's a reason why you don't actually read that book until you're a certain age, and then you pick it apart so you can learn about certain concepts in life. What he just read out was just straight up porn. I'm sorry. Parents having the ability to challenge everybody's individual. I couldn't even follow what the hell he was saying then. Oh, it shouldn't be up to a parent to challenge whether or not a particular book should be in a library. Okay. Two. If a parent is concerned about something at a school library, fine. Local library, yes, I think there should be mandates, and I think that in this instance, the rating system is just the most appropriate. If it is sexually explicit, it should be in its own section. I don't understand how that's so difficult. We did it in video stores. We did it in, you do it generally in bookstores. Why? In many schools, this is forced reading. I'm sorry, what? The trouble is the librarians are the ones letting porn in. I
think you ought to think about it a little bit more before you come here.
I've thought about,
if
Senator,
you're going to propose something, you ought to be able, in 30 seconds, to be able to explain what you're asking us to do. Ms. Kelly, what do you understand? Well, let me skip you for a second. Mr. Cameron.
No,
tell
you
me
won't.
What you're proposing.
It's pronounced mix.
Mix? Is that how would you like me to refer to you?
Senator, your definition of sexual is synonymous with LGBTQ identity.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you to tell me you read those two excerpts.
Genderqueer.
Do you think that, are you asking that only librarians and...
Can I point something out here? Senator Kennedy was just incredibly, polite and well-mannered about that. And the individual, because I didn't actually catch how that individual wants to be referred to, just talked right over and moved on with, there's got to be give and take.
Not parents have any say in whether minors can read those books. Is that what you're saying?
Genderqueer has never been in my school library, so it's never been banned.
Well, suppose it was. Should it be up just to the librarian, or should parents have a say?
There should be facilitation of collaboration between students,
Should parents have
and
a say?
Parents should be working with students and educators to be making decisions, because students are...
And who decides ultimately? The librarian, or do you take a vote, or who takes the vote?
All he's asking for is a practical application.
In the community in my school district.
You want a committee to decide?
There are committees.
Okay. Well, I'm asking you, how do we decide whether the two books that I just referenced should be available in the library? What would you, if you were running things, what would you do?
I don't know, because they didn't self-identify.
The scene you mentioned is about sexual abuse.
I know what it's about.
It's not
What
erotic.
would you do in terms of making the books available? Would you say anybody can see them, or they have to be in a special
They're
session?
dancing around it so
Students who do
dicks.
not read books like All Boys Aren't Blue cannot
Dude, it's
learn
not a dick.
what
Stop
is
making it so
I
hard.
understand that.
They
Just
cannot
specifically
learn
But
say.
none of you want to
abuse.
answer my question. You come here
No, just
and you
answer the
say
question. Of course not.
censorship is bad, and of course it's bad. But the obvious response is, okay, you heard the books we're talking about. Okay, we're not talking about Catcher in the Rye. So tell me what you want, who gets to decide. And all I've heard is the librarians. And parents have nothing to do with it. And if that's your response, what planet did you just parachute in from?
Parents, Senator.
Or what country, more appropriately? This is not China.
Parents, Senator, for all due respect, parents absolutely have a say. My parents were immigrants, came to this country. We never checked out books without our parents seeing what books we were reading. They encouraged us to read
Mr.
books.
Secretary, I understand this is good for your politics back home.
It's got nothing to do with my politics. My bill is passed.
Of course it does.
My
It
bill is
has
passed.
everything to do with your politics.
I'm here to...
But you came here with a problem, and I'm trying to understand the solution, and you don't have one.
We solved the solution. We solved the solution in
Other than to
Illinois.
tell us that we don't agree with you, we'll be on the wrong side of history.
We solved the problem in Illinois. We fixed it because we
Well, there are
passed laws
others
that
you
make-
could work on.
Well, that's why I'm
out
here
of
to help.
time. Thank
I'm
you,
help-
Mr. Chairman.
To help other states make these decisions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So there's that. It astounds me that some individuals just don't want to answer the question. And I do see this on occasion from all sides of politics. I see it from clients as well, or from the other side when I'm in matters. Dancing around the question like that rather than just getting to the meat and potatoes of it. I'll leave that one hanging out there. It's just not a good look. Again, it's up to someone other than the parents. Well, look, if it is a public library, if it is a school library, I do believe that there needs to be input from the administrators and the parents. Students, not so much. If they're under the age of 18, it's the adults that are supposed to be making the proper decisions as to what is appropriate for them. If it's I don't understand how it's so difficult. If it's X-rated material, it shouldn't be available to anyone under the age of 18. It's really freaking straightforward. Yes, it had everything to do with his politics. And with the cancellation department, we get to inform you you're officially cancelled, turn in your card. No, that's fine. I will counter your cancellation card with my white privilege card. Fuck off. Welcome to American politics in America, sir. See, the funny thing is, I didn't see any of this shit while I was over there. Granted, it was 12 days. But, you know, it's an indication that everybody knows what the problem is. Exactly. If you are not willing to directly address something, you yourself know and acknowledge that it's an issue, and you don't want to bring it up. So that's just pathetic. So, losers talk like losers? Yeah. So, but alright. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. Where are we? As always, please remember, you are not a piece of shit. Unlike certain people we just watched. And I'm not specifying any names. It's a whole 2-hour show. I could be talking about anybody. Just whatever. Don't want it X-rated on purpose. Trigger warnings on everything else, but they want that in schools. Yeah. But yes, you're not a piece of shit. You do have value and you do contribute to society, especially if you hit that like button for me. Double check whether or not you're still subbed. Yeah. I'll see you all tomorrow. Stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, people. Where are we? You know, we'll do this one first.
America.
This shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just.
Gotcha, bitch.
Now I'm just fucking with you. See you, peeps.
This shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.